Okay, personal trainers and online fitness coaches. This is the full breakdown of how we turn a busy schedule with a capped income into a 10 to 20K per month online fitness coaching business using what I call leveraged marketing, which means you can stop competing on price, actually build a brand with a competitive edge, and cut through the sea of online fitness coaches and become the obvious choice, even if you're starting from scratch. You don't need a big following, you don't need to dump any more money into ads, and you especially don't need to send any cold DMs. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. How I grew my own fitness business to 6 figures per year, who I've helped do the same. I'm going to show you my entire marketing, sales, and fulfillment process from A to Z, the most common mistakes I see that are keeping people stuck in 2000, and a bonus, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into how my consultant program works, Fit Pro Scale OS. So let's get into it. Who is this for? It's for personal trainers, health and fitness coaches who want to grow an online fitness coaching business, who are still trading time for money to make their income, making maybe 3 to 10K per month and want to scale to 20 to 30K per month in the next 6 months. You've got a great coach, you have results, but you lack real online business infrastructure and systems to take it to the next level, and you lack clarity and direction, and you don't know what levers to pull in order to actually grow predictably online. Now, who am I? My name is Kieran. I'm 31 years old. I became a personal trainer in 2013. I've done over 1,000 hours on the gym floor, then moved online in 2016. Scaled to 10 to 15K per month with 35 active clients. I took a job as a business operations manager for a consulting offer for health pros. We scaled from 200K per month to 800K per month. I led a 2.5 million launch, and to be honest, I just became obsessed with business marketing and sales after this point. I still wanted to help people. I was helping personal trainers transition online on the side just for free. But over the last 3 years, I've done this full time, and we've done over 4 million in my own client results and worked with over 75 coaches one-to-one in my own offer. So here's kind of a screenshot of me at an event with my team. These are screenshots of 800K in a month. And here's just a screenshot of my own business as well. So who have I helped, right? These are just some people who I've helped. Mike, he was able to go from 0 to 4K in 60 days. Marcus, he was working a 9 to 5 as a barber, got to 10K per month in 30 days actually. Kirill, he's a lower back pain coach, from 500 to 4K per month, living in Costa Rica as well, where the cost of living is very low. Maria went from 6 to 20 paying clients. Trevor added 45K of new revenue in 50 days. Jonathan was able to scale him from 1.5K per month to 12K per month in 60 days. James went from 5K followers to 150K followers and built a 6-figure coaching business from scratch in 10 months. Cody went from working as a tradie to 10K per month living in Bali. And Teresa, she was a gym floor PT and is now doing over 15K per month online. So this fucking works. Whether you're starting from scratch or you're a personal trainer looking to transition online, long story short, you need a system, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you just now. So let's dive into it. Let's look at the business model here. So as we can see, we've got brand at the top, then we've got traffic, right? Short form content, profile visitor. Then we've got the nurturing mechanism, conversion mechanism, delivery mechanism, and trust, which is a snowball effect. Everything is designed to take someone from being a stranger to a client and delivering on that promise with as little friction as possible. Everything is super clear and designed in a specific way so that things like revenue per follower are as high as possible, so that things like lead to close time is as low as possible, right? How long does it take for someone to come into your ecosystem and turn them into a client? Too many people are focusing on vanity metrics that don't matter that much. So brand is king. People are clicks away from finding someone specialized to their specific ideal outcome. The more generic you are, the more watered down your brand is going to be. And powerful brands have strong mission, message, and associations. So the longer you try and please everyone online, then the weaker your brand is going to be, and the more watered down your content is going to be. People are not going to see you as the ideal solution, and they're just going to go elsewhere, right? People have the luxury of choice online. People forget that. It's not just a case of going down to your local gym and picking a personal trainer. They can literally go to whoever they want. So everything that you do in the business model revolves around your ICP and your offer. People forget that. You should be looking at the camera and pretending the same damn person is on the other side of that every single time. You're not like, hey guys, how's it going? No, it's the same person. you're helping that kind of person multiplied by as many of those people as you can find. If you're not insanely clear on your offer and your ICP, your viewers definitely won't be either. So that's kind of the foundation to everything. If you don't nail brand and you start putting all this effort into content, everything that happens beyond the point of someone following you, you're going to waste your damn time. So if you're a personal trainer, for example, who already has a packed calendar and you're trying to grow your online coaching business on the side and you're putting in all this effort to content and you're wondering why they're not converting, I'm sorry to tell you, but your focus is completely fucked. It's in the wrong place. You're focused on the wrong things. You haven't built strong foundations in the first place, and you're trying to build this tall tower, and you're wondering why no one is converting. It's because you didn't nail brand in the first place. So let's look at top of funnel, which is the traffic mechanism. So most coaches just post what they feel like on the spot, right? They think, I just need to post once a day. That's so surface level, and it doesn't take into account any strategy involved in what the role of each piece of content is or anything like that. Others try to go viral, another big mistake. So they look at these big creators and these big influencers online, they try to emulate what they're doing, and truthfully, I've spoken to a lot of these people. They've nailed the vanity metrics. They get a ton of followers, they get a ton of likes, they get a ton of engagement, but they're broke and they don't know why it's happening as well. So if you just emulate what these people are doing, then you're going to go down a path that is going to hit you and you're basically going to walk into a brick wall. So don't focus too much on going viral. Yes, there's an element of getting attention and getting it to the right people so that they follow you. But if you focus on entertaining content too much instead of content that's based around building a business, then you're not going to like the result of it. So we have found that combining market research with competitor research to craft a content strategy that is aligned with your brand, which is you, your offer, and your ICP, while using winning concepts that are proven, is what allows us to find balance between generating as much attention as possible while not neglecting monthly revenue generated per follower, which is the ultimate metric for how powerful your brand and your social media is. And obviously there's a sweet spot to be had there, because if your content is pulling in 100 views per video or less than that, then obviously you're not simply going to reach enough people in order to find your ICP. So there has to be a balance and you have to do it in the right way. And we systematically do this and test various different things while hitting all the right psychological triggers in order to attract the right person. Now, the nurturing mechanism, also known as middle of funnel, there is a big trap here worth mentioning, which is what I call broke influencer syndrome. And kind of like what I said before, it's where people only focus on the top of funnel metrics and when they see success in that realm as well, their focus just completely goes onto that because they're getting all this dopamine from getting all the likes and the followers, and they associate that with success, and then they wonder why things don't work later on. So they struggle to make a consistent income from their business. And the reasons why is because they got the wrong kind of attention in the first place, people with low buyer intent, and they haven't engineered their middle of funnel content in ways that handles all the psychological triggers in order to take someone from strangers to being a client, which is the buyer's journey. And the metric associated with that is the lead to close time, right? If you have a strong lead to close time, you know that your systems middle of funnel are working well, and there's a very clear path for people to take. And it's just you're getting leads one after another, you're getting booked calls. So the conversion mechanism, right? Bottom of funnel now. So this middle of funnel section is where you're nurturing people in a very specific way. You want to focus on watch time, touch points, psychological triggers, your methodology, teaching people about the way you think about achieving the solution, right? All this stuff is nurturing them, and you want to optimize for watch time. That's why you'll notice here we use a VSL and we use the YouTube content. Now, a VSL is a video sales letter, and I much prefer this to a website. A website is very outdated. It's very old, traditional. It creates analysis paralysis. When someone goes on there, they don't have the opportunity to binge more of your content. They don't have an opportunity for you to educate them, for you to handle limiting beliefs, to spend time talking with them for 30 or 40 minutes. So websites just don't work, right? You're not selling a pair of socks here. You're selling a premium coaching program. So the touch points and the human connection is what's going to take someone to the point of choosing you as their coach. So now we're looking at the conversion mechanism, also known as bottom of funnel. So something we're very big on as well is conversion pathway and clarity. You don't want 5 offers with different tiers and different low ticket offers and free resources, right? When you're at 100K per month, yes, you need filtration systems to maximize the lead capture and entry points, which is going to help you ascend people through your offer suite. But if you're sort of like below 100K per month, then you need to keep things as clear and as simple as possible, giving people one path to take and one offer, driving people to the thing that you want to sell the most. So everything has to be so damn simple, sub 10K though. So kind of like what I said there, clarity on everything. The rule of ones, right? One ICP, one content strategy, one path to take, one sales process, one offer. And to be honest, that rule applies all the way up to 100K per month. Because if you find what works, then it's just a case of you just need more people going into that funnel, into that system. So if someone's interested, you need to make it so fucking clear and simple to execute on that thought. They need to know exactly how to raise their hand and take action. Can you downsell someone on the call? Of course. But nothing should get between interest and offering the flagship program. Now, I've got an example here. So when Trevor came on board with me, he had 2 offers. He had his flagship program, and he had this low ticket kettlebell course. And what he was doing was he had a link tree. One option in the link tree was sending people to his application for coaching. The second option was sending people to a landing page or a checkout page for his kettlebell coaching offer. And I'm telling you, one of the levers we pulled in order to direct more people to the application was by simply just dropping that course altogether and getting rid of it. And what happened? He received more applications and his money that he was making per month went up, because some of these people that were buying the course were actually good candidates for his shit program, but he didn't know about it, right? They were just buying it and he was neglecting them. So as soon as we did this, he started making more money. Now, what I advised him to do instead was, if he gets people on the call and for whatever reason they're not a good fit or they can't afford his program, that's the perfect opportunity to then present the downsell, so that even when people don't close, they're being directed to something, right? A more suitable offer. That's a totally legit tactic, because then the low ticket offer isn't distracting anyone from going down the path that you want to go down. There's no friction between them showing interest and the flagship program. It's just simply, if they can't join the flagship program, boom, that's when you have the downsell. So let's have a look at the delivery mechanism. So if you're a personal trainer or you're just starting out, then obviously you might have some questions about how you actually fulfill on this. So here's kind of the hierarchy. So at the bottom, we've got the onboarding process. The first 2 weeks are super important. This is where you set expectations. This is when you really set someone up for success. If you ruin the onboarding process and they're confused or they don't have a good experience, it's going to be really hard to recover from that. Next is the monthly reviews and the roadmap. So always keeping people motivated and clear on what the next steps are. And you always want people thinking months ahead, right? This is how you create a sort of momentum and excitement and a runway so that they never want to leave you, because they're always looking ahead towards the next big thing. Then you've got the weekly check-ins, which is simply just, usually you'll have your app, right, which might be like Trainerized, one. There'll be a check-in process there, a series of questions, and then you can simply respond to it using a screen recording software like Loom, for example. Literally just a 5-minute video. Let's say their check-in date is on Sunday. Everyone checks in on Sunday, and on Monday, you just bulk record all the check-ins, and that's you done for the week. Another thing, so we've got things like WhatsApp for the one-to-one text support. We've got Zoom for the monthly reviews. File storage maybe, right? Some of these apps host this as well. Like maybe you want to drop a course or resources. Obviously there's things like School, Circle. Circle is what I use. But to be honest, for an online fitness coach, unless you're making like 10K per month, I wouldn't recommend paying £100 per month for one of these course hosting platforms. If they need resources, just put them in the app or put them on Google Drive. We've got Zapier for automations, just to make the onboarding process a bit more seamless. Then you can do the weekly check-ins, and then we've got touch points, right? And you want to have something like this, which is a client OS, a client operating system, where you have all the information about their contact information, their risk level, right? Depending on how they're doing in the program. Some people, you actually just want to message them less. If they're just fucking getting on with it and doing their job, you don't really want to be pestering those people. However, if they're struggling, and they struggle with adherence and motivation, then this kind of person might be a red, right? They're showing signs of being distant, pulling back, and these people need more touch points throughout the week. So you can focus on the people who need it the most. Then we've got things like last call summary, payment information, have they renewed, have they given you a testimonial, and so forth. So that's how to look at it. Now, at the bottom here, we've got the trust mechanism. So this is really where, this is the absolute foundation of a scalable coaching business. It's what really creates the social proof snowball effect is what I call it. So I see a lot of great coaches who get awesome results, but you would barely know it exists, right? Acquiring the result is one thing, but actually being a good marketer who can use that ammunition is a skill a lot of people don't have. And when distributing social proof, you should be aware of people's use of their logical and emotional brain, right? You need both. For example, a case study breakdown creates certainty around the how that the result is achieved, right? It pieces together how is this even possible? That makes sense, right? It's a logical process. You've got your unique mechanism. And then we've got things like a client podcast or an interview, which creates more emotional reinsurance because of the way it's making others similar feel, right? If people are literally on an interview with you, a YouTube video, talking with you for 30 minutes about how good your program is and how it made them feel and how they feel, how they felt before and how they feel now after they've gotten the result, that's just emotional reassurance that they're going to be in good hands when they come on board. So the format, the story behind it, the distribution strategy, this is a whole thing that people don't take into account. And they wonder why they're a great coach and they're not able to get momentum in their businesses because they don't have the right systems in place. They don't know the right order to do things in. And they don't know when to do things and they don't know how to do it right, which feeds the rest of the system. It's like a constant feedback loop and it compounds. It compounds on top of each other. So if you've made it this far, what is FitPro Scale OS? And most importantly, how does it handle the biggest constraint that holds people back who are below 10K per month, which is the doubt, the uncertainty, focusing on the wrong things at the wrong time in the wrong order, the shiny object syndrome. That is the biggest bottleneck people have. If you knew exactly what you needed to do, and you had no doubt, no uncertainty, and you stripped everything back so that all you needed to do was execute on a proven system that you know has worked for others, what do you think is going to happen, right? So what's the goal? Basically, I'll come on board as a growth partner to work with you one-on-one to launch and scale your online coaching business to 10 to 20K in the next 180 days. How? We follow a simple process, right? We craft the dream client avatar, create an offer, and build a world-class results-driven program. We follow key systems to acquire clients and deliver effectively, aka we design all the systems required to engineer the buyer's journey to make it as efficient as possible. And we script and record a VSL, which massively enhances stranger to client speed, show rate, and close rate, right? We don't need a website. We don't need to pay a funnel designer, anything like that. We keep things simple. We keep things authentic. And we get our bang for our buck here, right? Everything is designed for leverage, clarity, and simplicity. Then what we want to do is most people have an audience in front of them already. So we want to build your first marketing campaign and launch your offer in order to scoop up your first 3 to 5 clients in a way that builds enough awareness and actually nurtures people during a sort of 14-day period and gives people enough urgency to want to take action. Then what we do is we start to think a bit long-term here. So we want to build, run, and test a data-driven content strategy with very clear messaging to attract the ideal client persona. And then we want to keep testing things, doubling down, and finding the winning concepts that creates this kind of compounding effect in your content, right? And as soon as you crack this, you don't really have to worry about leads ever again, and you can purely focus on nurturing these people and sales. So after that, we want to implement what I call social flow. This is where you're being proactive, you're intercepting people when they've shown interest, and you're identifying hidden buyers and qualifying them to see if they're a good fit, basically. And if they are, then you're pushing them to the next stage, which is a sales call. Then we use what I call anti-selling, right, to diagnose and close with minimal objections. And the ways of pushy salesman vibes are gone, right? No one likes it. No one respects it. So we want to avoid that at all costs, and we want to have an authentic selling process that feels natural, right? I hate selling like that. I don't like handling objections. So why not just build everything that happens before the sales call to handle them for you? Next, we want to strategically use client results in order to create a social proof snowball effect. We want to identify the biggest constraint at any one given time. This is an ongoing thing, right? And we're looking at the data, we're tracking the data. We always have a finger on the pulse of what the biggest constraint is holding us back right now, and how can we solve it as quickly as possible. This is a skill that most people don't have, right? They're focused on 10 different things. They don't know what the priority of it is, and they don't really know what the problem actually is. And you don't gain that skill until you've actually gone through the whole process of scaling to 100K per month, 200K per month and above, because you never really know what the problem is. Whereas when you gain this skill of actually being able to identify and fix things quickly, that's when you can really unlock growth predictably. And then that's all we're doing, was we're building the foundations, and we're and scaling using data, not feelings, right? If you just go on how you feel and what you think and your opinion, you're never going to scale a business, because building a business is very logical. So what we do is I basically just give you the whole roadmap, like what to do in what order, action by action. It is so clear. Do this, here's how to do it. Do this, here's how to do it. Do this, here's how to do it. Split into phases. You build the whole foundations, you make sure everything is done optimally and done right, which puts you in a really good position to then we can fully focus on content and scale that. And here's a little picture of the business metrics tracker as well, which is split into overall business health, top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, and sales, right? So we can literally see week on week, what is the trajectory looking like? What needs work? What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? It goes from left to right in a logical order, because then because obviously if we have a bottleneck upstream, then that's going to basically ruin all the metrics after that. So that means our focus needs to be in that area, and we can keep iterating what we're doing until it's fixed, and then it's going to allow the stream to come down flow much easier. So everyone goes through our design, engineer, and scale process, but that's just to build the foundations, and there's the general scaling roadmap. Everyone is in a different place, right? Every business is at a different stage with a different constraint. So that's why everyone receives a tailored game plan as well, in order to make sure that our time, as soon as you come into the program, is being very focused on what actually needs to happen at that one time. So it means that your return on time and effort to get the result is going to be much better, right? You're not just focusing on things that don't particularly matter for you. So that's like what the game plan would look like. It covers the month objectives, it covers every week, and it shows you exactly what you need to do in what order, like what are the priorities. Super simple. So what's included? The one-to-one strategic growth partnership for 6 months. And the kind of dynamic I like to compare it to is almost like I'm a co-founder, right? I hate that business coaches are offering a mentorship, but all it is a course, group calls, and maybe a success coach if you're lucky, right? Personally, I don't agree with that, and I don't find that fun either. I like to be in the trenches with my clients, building alongside them as if I'm a co-founder. That's just how I like to do things, and that's how I'll always do things. You also get lifetime access to the FitPro Scale OS, which is all the videos, all the SOPs, all the templates, all the trackers, so you can come back to it any time, even if I update the whole course. You also get your own personal A to Z roadmap of everything that needs done in order and how to do it. You get the one-to-one consulting calls and weekly accountability from me, not some success coach. And we have weekly group calls and skill development sessions as well. So your next move. So truthfully, I can't help everyone. What I do here is a very high touch point, and that's how I like to run things, because it's most fun for me personally, and people get better results. It's as simple as that. So if you want to see if we're actually a good fit, right? I don't even know. Right now, I don't know if I can help everyone. But if we hop on a call and we have a little chat about your current situation, what the bottlenecks are right now between where you are now and what it is you're looking to achieve, and if we establish that we're a good fit to work together, then we can start to map out what that plan would look like. And at the very least, you're going to walk away from the call with more clarity around what it is you actually need to do to get to the next level. If I can't help you, I'll make sure to point you in the right direction as well. So click the link below, book a call for a free roadmap call, and I'll see you there.